Good morning, everyone. It says you are live. And welcome to my daily plan. I'm Doc Trader McGraw. Most of you know me as Doc. Some of you know me as McGraw. And I'm going to go into my daily plan and I'm just going to kind of get right into it without the formalities. And if you know me, formality and me don't quite hang in the same cluster. Anyway, so here we are. Quick review. Yesterday, we broke out to a new all-time high, both intraday, tickled 62.15-ish, closed at 62.05, technically 5 cents below, but I'm not a stickler for the pennies. The IC whale got harpooned again. He was at 6,000 short, excuse me, 6,200 short call. Now, a word about how that happened, kind of, sort of. He sold those. Somebody else bought a roughly the same amount, and so the dealer basically didn't have short calls at 6,200. So he got skewed on that. Maybe it would have held, maybe it wouldn't have, but it didn't. So too bad, so sad. And anyway, and also just a disclaimer: I tease the IC whale sometimes about him getting harpooned and fun. That's all hopefully in good fun, locker room humor, quote unquote. I wish him and his subscribers all the success in the world and his followers. And actually, I like when he shows up because it gives me nice, clean levels, gives us nice, clean levels to trade off of. And shameless plug. I've been tracking this guy for years. I kind of know his strategy. It's not really rocket science. I've done similar things before I even noticed him. And I'm going to unveil what I think will be a better mousetrap, doing something similar but different. Um, and that'll be part of whatever new tier that I launch after July 4th. And again, those of you that know me know that it's still a work in progress, and it'll probably continue to be a work in progress after I launch it. But there'll be some kind of semi-mechanical-ish iron condor with a few different levels that will be discussed, and we'll see how. With that frame out of the way, a little chance to recover here. Now, someone on Bloomberg, by the way, this morning was saying some some guru from wherever was saying this setup with the all-time high, 92% of the time we reach another new all-time high within the next month. I believe him. I didn't research it, so maybe he's lying. But that said, sure, we're extended, all that kind of good stuff, but that's none of my business right now. My business is seeing where we are. So the IC whale got skewered, and he's back at 91, excuse me, 61.75 short put, kind of close, and 62.35 short call. Looks okay for now. Now, just from my observation, he got skewered twice on the call side. I don't know if he intentionally or just somehow mechanically um, chose to go further away from the on the top than normally and closer on the bottom than normal, but he did, just in terms of delta arrangement, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see how that works out for him. I wish him all the best in the world. Okay. So this gives us some pretty clear levels to bounce off of. I'm kind of arbitrarily putting this trigger here at 61.90. So we've been trading here. So if we can get over 85.90, we kind of head toward the 6,200 round number where we have the inflection. And if we get over there, because there's some small features there, then we come up, stall TA 101 or Master Trader Style 101, look left, that's where we stall. And we also have some features there as well on the uh, on the gamma map, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then once we get to the top of the chop zone, which I just kind of picked as 25, why 25 round number? There's some features. Plus, we get into the mean reverting flow from this stuff up here at 62.35. So, you know, draw your lines with a crayon or a magic marker or a paint roller, not with a fine tooth, pencil. These are zones. And we get to the top of this zone. If we get up there, the flows from here start to come in, pushing us down, but then pulling us back up, and we kind of form another level in here. If we're down here, then we have a different kind of battleground between the 6,200-ish or '05, yesterday's close, wherever, and down where we have these short customer short market maker long mean reverting stuff here at 61.75. And also realize that we could travel from one zone to another zone, back into another zone intraday. It's not like we're locked in a zone. Now, if might as well stay here because we're here, and then I'll go back to I'll go to Oh, good morning, Enio. Um, and I'll show you where I got this from. If we go below here and there's a mess down here, then there's really not a lot to stop us from, heading down toward 50 or below 40. And then should that happen, especially at the end of the day, then typically we would get a reversion back up toward where the short where the put credit spread area is. Just like yesterday, we got the reversion, we broke out, we got the reversion back towards the 6,200, 6,205 from here. Let's just say hypothetically, we're over here toward the end of the day. We could get the reversion back towards 65.70, somewhere in the whales zone of influence. Okay, let me open this up for a second. Now let's update, let's just add mental cues levels for a second. Let me mute mine just for a second. I prefer mine because I did it myself. And we have similar levels here that you can see. 6150, kind of the bottom, and the same kind of zone where the whale is, and the inflection at 6,200, and then kind of marching up towards 6260, whatever I had, 6265, kind of marching up through the zones. And I want to show this because I just like this roadmap feature on this. So I just kind of like the way it looks. So, here you can more clearly see the zones. So here's the whale zone. Here's below the whale zone. Here's the OMG, the suck zone, especially if you're the whale. Um, here's the kind of top of his zone. There's the max up there. Okay, let me get back to here. Let me get back to, is that my stuff? No, that's not my stuff. Here it is. Okay. No, is that it? Yeah, I guess that's right. I don't know why it had dotted lines before and now it doesn't, but whatever. That looks right. Yeah, okay. I don't know why it went from dotted lines to not dotted lines. Okay, so okay, people are filtering in. So okay, so there's that. Got something in private chat. Oh, good morning. Dan, let me know if you want to jump on the stage or any of my other vegan buddies that look like they're showing up here. And Greg from Master Trader apparently isn't going to make it today. You know, I'm going to see if I can twist his arm and get him to show up for like 5 or 10 minutes in the morning. One morning when we do this, he does his show on YouTube at 9 o'clock and on X, and I'll be doing a live thing with him on noon on Master Trader. I'll throw links in. He's got his own thing, and he was my TA mentor. Hey, Joel. So he'll be on. His other guy on his service. Dan is the one that gave me my nickname McGraw. You'll hear the backstory that day. Anyway, enough of all that nonsense. Let's get to how we make money. So let's see. Hopefully, I have this set up right. Yikes. Okay. So let's look at what's going on here. So when I say don't torture the data between here, 6230 and 6200, there's really not a lot from a gamma point of view. What's the contract numbers? 200, whatever. Not that much. 6,200, okay, there's something, 1,000 contracts to call, 741 of puts, 2,000, so that's enough to matter. There's some stuff down here at 6,190. But basically, this is what frames the action from the day bigly. And should we get below this 70, the only feature there is 6140, and that's a market maker short magnet, which we don't want to see, especially if you're a bull. Now, let's look at the heat map. So now the heat map includes not just the zero DTE, but the entire complex weighted for gamma and Vanna and all that kind of stuff, all the fancy Greek stuff. Um, so that's why it's not going to have a one-to-one correspondence, but the zero DTE has an outweighted um, influence on the heat map because, as we know, gamma or the rate of change of delta is affected by proximity to spot, how close we are to the price of SPX, and by how close we are to expiration. So 30,000 contracts expiring in 7 hours holds more weight than 5,000 contracts expiring in 3 days. And so that all gets weighted out. Now, so in my little note, I tongue in cheek called it if we go down, if we break this level here, we have what's technically called a cluster F down here at 6180. So we have this mean reversion bounce support right here, and then we have this red magnet down here, and then we have this zone of market maker negative gamma down here, but we could mean revert back here. So we got a mess here. We got a similar mess on top, but not quite as messy as we have on the bottom. On top, going to be hard to break through this 35 area. You see the influence starts over here at 30 and 25. That's why I made that the top of the chop zone. But if we break above here, it's kind of clean. There's nothing much stopping us going up toward this 65 area that I mentioned. And then this becomes a magnet back down like happened yesterday. So now let's switch. Okay. Oh, we have time to play pinball a little later. All right, so let's switch to this over here. I'm just going to kind of zoom in a little bit. And we're not going to worry about 5,900 area. And we're not going to worry about, we'll just get below 6,100, the round number, just because I like round numbers. They're good reference points. So, any comments or questions? Throw them in the chat. Hi YouTube. Hi Twitter or X. Um, okay. So here's just a closer up view of that same heat map, and here's that. Just so maybe you can see the numbers a little better. Here's that magnet up here. Market makers are short those calls. Customers are long, but it's part of this feature. So it's not like it's standalone, so it kind of acts dynamically differently. And notice early in the day at 10 o'clock, whatever, 11 o'clock, there's not that much influence from this. Yeah, it's a path of least resistance, but the influence is strongest at the end of the day at around 3 o'clock, power hour, 2:30. Same with the bottom. Now, the bottom influence is a little stronger earlier, and similarly, the bounce zone influence of this stuff doesn't quite come in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. There's just this background of positive gamma, supportive stuff in here, but not super a lot. All right, Jay Powell, thank you for reminding me. Let me remind everybody. Let me zoom to my little notes here. We have Jay Powell yapping at 9:30. What could possibly go wrong, as I say in my notes? And we have Jolts at whatever time. Let me find it. I got it in my notes somewhere. We got Jolts and we have ISM. So we have three potential catalysts coming in today that could, if nothing else, the algo overlords will create wiggles and then people will get however they get. Notice, by the way, at the end of the day, we have this whole kind of zone in here between 62.05 where we close and 62.25.30. Free to move around the cabin zone. Down here at the end of the day is supposed to be supportive, unless we're down here and then it becomes a mess. Sound is not great, they tell me. Is it any better now? I might have had my mic a little too far away from my mouth. Is that better? Is that better? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, please, folks, let me know if the sound is not great, loud and clear. Okay, all right. Just let me know. I'm not thin-skinned. I've been accused of being a lot of things, but thin-skinned was not one of them. Okay, so let's zoom in on the charm. End of day decay, like Valsig likes to say. The charm is inevitable. One thing we know is time is going to pass. We don't know where spot is going to be. We don't know how volatility is going to move. So gamma is a moving target. But what's not a moving target is time. Time will pass. And since we know from CBOE studies, which I mentioned, well, came out a couple weeks ago, as well as from anecdotal personal experience watching this stuff, whatever. Most of these big features sit there all day, and we know the IC whale sits there all day. So we know this stuff is going to be here, so time is going to pass, and so deltas will decay from eventually to either 0 or 1. In the money, you're a 1. out of the money, you're a zero. That's it. And so it's kind of binary that way. And so starting here, just looking at, so now intraday, just the decay flows, gives us this channel here. Let's just call it 70-ish to 95. Basically chop zone channel over here. Suppressive flows just from decay. We're just kind of holding spot constant. From 10, 15, really, it starts to get difficult to get up there. So most likely we kind of end up in this area, 65. So, but yeah, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with the whales puts today. At the end of the day, we have the IC whale zone as one pin. We have below the IC whale harpoon zone at around 50-ish, somewhere in here. We got a little tuck and hide right around 6,200. Another little tuck and hide right below it, basically closing flat. And something here, if Powell should say that Trump was right all along, he's seen the error of his ways and he's going to have an emergency meeting to cut rates. That might help the market a little bit. And then that was light sarcasm. And then I need to cue up a laugh track. And then over 62.40, heading towards 62.65. And the top of the straddle on Friday, the next Friday close, I got this secret sauce thing that marks it, and it's here. And the bottom is 60.85. So if you like to sell weekly iron condors or buy iron butterflies, sell them, whatever, this sort of play with this or use this to work around. Okay, so that's basically that for now. Let's go to the chain, caveman style. Okay, so I did what I normally do, which is one, I anticipated that he was going to be coming today. It's not rocket science, especially I know his secret sauce. I mean, it's not such a secret, it's not hard to know. But let's take a look at what's going on here. So his 61.75 puts, well, let's look at his iron condor. 61.75 on bottom. So here's the IC whale. I did a one lot. So I'm not going to close it. Basically flat on that. My estimation. To me, that gets closed right now at the open. And then I deal with the put spreads. Yesterday, he had a chance to close his calls, profitable, break even, tiny loss, whatever. He sits there mechanical. He did his back testing, and that's what he does. Good for him. That's not me. So anyway, and then I sold some calls above it. So all this stuff is money good. I'm not sure. That's part of the other. So I also did another IC down here further away, kind of the way I would like to do them. Let's see how those are looking. Cancel, replace. So it's about a 120 debit now. And basically the puts are in trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out the calls. What do I even need them for? Take the money and see where we are. I'll probably do something in here to manage it. This is a 36 delta. This is no joke. is maybe turning this into a butterfly by buying something like that. I have some kind of Frankenstein fly, but we'll look at that later because that's really at some iron condors. I don't know, 62. Whoops, 62. I mean, okay, so away from the whale, we had that 40 thing that we didn't like. So let's look at 30, 20, 50 cents for a 10 wide. That's in my wheelhouse. I'll take it. If it's not in your wheelhouse, let's just say your wheelhouse is you don't like that much risk. I can respect that. So, so we got the whale here at 75.70. We got 45 for 60 for a buck. There you go. It's getting juicy. 75. So anywhere in here, but here, that doesn't become dangerous. And so if you're in it, wait till the end of the day or toward. All right. So where do we go on top? Well, until we see if we get over the 6,200. Wide for 50 cents. That's not bad. These, I'd like to get more, but put in one for 50 cents. Similar order, one for 70 cents. See what happens. Something like that. So I would want to be where the whale is or further, but right now there's no juice, so you could always wait to see where the whale is. Um, on the bottom, I'd like to be below this 40. I don't mind selling them wide. Lotto, maybe a lotto fly. Where would I want to put a lotto fly? Maybe somewhere here, a buck 40, a little expensive. I want to put a lotto fly here, something like this. Maybe you want to do a 10 by 15 for 45 cents. That's not bad, but now you're betting that basically we close, or something like this. I'm not crazy about that. Something like here where we're saying, okay, we're going to close above 6,200, somewhere in here. Probably might put something in like this. So these are just kind of little ideas, not investment advice. Just kind of talking through my process here. And I'm not crazy about the setup today. Usually I like seeing the whale, but I don't like him selling his puts so close. So TLDR, I'm gonna wait. Well, I don't know about all that. I want to see how we act over here. So far, we're acting okay. Gun to my head, I think we're gonna hold. And if we break, we probably reverse. Reversal trigger as we get near here, get sucked back into that. So I'll probably cowboy up and sell something in here. On top, I want to wait to see how we act. I got those calls that are already basically worthless. So I'm going to close those personally. For new trades, I'm going to wait to see how we act. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to keep you on the thing there so long. Private chat. Only getting about 25 cents of what you're saying, and your mic is clipping. Okay, so I'm not sure why I'm having microphone problems. I can see my little thing is it any better, worse? Feedback from X and YouTube. Is it coming through loud and clear, or not that loud and not that clear? It was in and out for a minute, but now it's good. Okay, so again, the boom mic. I've got one of those earpiece boom micy things, and maybe I like probably scratched my ear or something and moved it. So I'm gonna have to hone my technical skills. Operator error, exactly. YouTube is fine. Good. Okay. All right. We'll work this out. Maybe I'll grab a millennial or a Gen Y kid or whatever and have them tell me what kind of mic to get to hook up to my computer. I might have a trading computer that doesn't have a mic or a camera or whatever. It just has six screens, NVIDIA, whatever card, and 128 RAM and all that loaded for bear. One of those kind of deals. Anyway, so that's it. Okay, good. Um, and that's it. So let's get let's play some pinball. Let's play some pinball. Okay. Anybody have any okay, see comments, sorry. Pinball anyone? We got a 6170. I can't put that one on the stage over there. 6200. So we got 6170, 60. We have two votes for 6200 round number. I'm going to give you guys plus or minus 0.25, 2.5, depending where you center your strikes. So 6200, are you centering the belly at 6200 or the long at 6200? Just curious. Okay. So that's, and of course, we talked about the condor structure. I'm not going to go into that now. The short, right? The belly at 6200. 6190. Belly at 6190. Ooh, get to the bounce to 6210. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Something like that, if you're nimble, you could get in at the right time, cheap belly, right? Okay, so just for the sake of consistency, and this is kind of an industry standard, not that there's official industry standards. Usually when we, whoever we are, traders, options people, whatever, call out a butterfly by a number, that's the belly. That's what we're saying. A 6200 butterfly, and then however wide the wings are, 6200 by 5 or 15 wide or 10 wide or asymmetrical. You're selling more of one than the other. You might be selling two, selling three instead of two, and buying two instead of one. That's technically asymmetrical, but still the wings are the same width, so it's not broken. Broken wings is the width of the wings is uneven. Broken wing asymmetrical, which is what I like to do because you guys know me already. Well, then that's asymmetry both in the width of the wings, so you have a directional bias, as well as in the number of short strikes and long strikes. So you're trying to squeeze a credit out of it, or you have an idea of where we may or may not go, and that'll be part of the geek premium offering thing that I'm going to be talking about. We'll have some kind of educational component and ideas to consider, or how I think of these trades, and we'll kind of mock them up together as we go along. And then they'll be joining in when I can get her to join in with her. She's got a lot of mechanical strategies, some that she's developed on her own, some that we've developed trading side by side since 2017 or 18. So she's a spreadsheet person. And then there's the person that does the cheat card that comes out later in the day, not the one that I generate, the ChatGPT generates for me telling you what to say. I've been fighting with ChatGPT a lot lately. It's been making a lot of mistakes. I actually sarcastically asked it today if it has a computer virus, and I've threatened to fire it a few times and go to Claude. Anyway, okay, that's it for now. If there's no other questions, comments, it's 9:10, so I'm gonna go see what Valsigs has to say. Safe trade safe, everybody. I'm probably gonna trade, add to the puts I already have, like the 55s, short 55s, leave the calls alone for a while and see where we go. All right, take care, everybody. And I'm going to look to scalp opportunistically within the zones. I think we have some clear zones. Okay.